What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 299 of the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton LaPlatte. Joining me, as always, we have the Mecha Stardew Valley, Chris Montepano.
What's up, everybody?
We got the Ray Trace Durag Madrid Devon.
700 Arizona green iced teas. Think about it.
And we got the most degenerate squid in the sea, Jalen Roberts.
With no stand or disk drive.
We got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about the PS5 Pro, my PS5, 3DSs, Annapurna, Flappy Bird, Tony Hawk, and Xbox. So, it's been a week in gaming. I think the biggest news of the week so far has been the PS5 Pro finally being announced. We got a 9-minute presentation from Mark Cerny, and it confirmed first of all, the headline story from it is that this system is $700 with no vertical stand and no disk drive.
Hmm.
And like what they're promising for it, like I could totally see for some of the games coming out, especially next year. Like for me, Monster Hunter Wilds, like having this system is gonna be probably necessary to not have to play that game at 30 FPS. Like I'm playing on a Switch.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But it went from being day 100% hell yeah to oof. Because I was expecting 600 with the disk drive and probably a vertical stand, not 700 without either of those things, which total up to be about an additional $100. Like one of the
how much is the disk drive for the Slim?
Well, it's sold out everywhere, so
yeah, I mean you can't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 80, and then the stand I think is 30. So you're dealing with an extra $110 plus tax. So
so the ray tracing part for me is confusing because I feel like when the PS5 was first out and announced, it was like this console will do 8K gaming. It does 120 FPS at 4K. It's like they promised so much.
It never promised that. It was like we got a performance mode where you can get your shit at 60.
It was ambiguous.
And we have a
fidelity mode where said
it will not be 60.
Yeah, they never said 4K 120 because a 4090 can't do 4K 120.
That's true.
So there's no way that when the 20 series was the newest, or that they were promising that, because you can't even get that on the highest end PCs right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Okay. At least even 8K, which they've recently taken off the boxes.
Yeah.
8K, but that doesn't even make sense. We're not even there yet.
There was one game that ran at 8K, and essentially the only reason it was running at 8K was to super sample. So it was just like a game that you basically had to run at 30 and then got an 8K image that would be downscaled to 4K even if you were... Yeah, so it was possible. There are games out there that do that.
Yeah.
But... yeah, taking it off the box is a good idea. Nobody's doing 8K.
Right.
8K is so far out that, and the fact that 4K's reached like mass market adoption, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
you can get a decent 4K monitor or TV for a reasonable price.
Right. So, and I feel like most people for the past couple of years, even if they go out and they buy a new screen, it's going to be 4K.
Yeah.
For the most part, you'll get.
I mean, if you FPS is whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once you get into the weeds.
Right.
No,
Yeah, so the problem that a lot of people have been running into since the start of the generation is we're doing performance modes that are struggling to stay at 60. And that was one of the interesting things Mark Cerny said is 3/4 of all players are choosing performance mode. And they have the telemetry of every single game that's played on PlayStation and what
Yeah.
people are doing. So if you have 75% going for that 60 FPS, which I totally understand, I set
Mhm.
my thing on a system level to performance mode. So,
Yeah.
like,
You got to go with that smoothie butter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And while I'm playing on a 4K screen, and I'd probably appreciate the additional, like, graphical detail, like, none of the games that I've played in the past couple years would I give up the frame rate for the graphics. Which is why it's good for certain
Yeah.
things like Insomniac games give you the option of performance with ray tracing. But the thing is they're saying so think about this is just a GPU upgrade. Like it's a massive GPU upgrade, but the thing that would be bottlenecking the frame rate a lot of times would be the CPU, and they can't really change the CPU because at that point it's a different system.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is. This system came out, what, 4 years ago?
yep.
Yeah, I guess I do see a GPU upgrade being necessary, and that's what the Pro has always done. Pro series for PlayStation always done with I guess just the 4 and now the 5.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's just a GPU bump, like, and a massive one at that.
and I
Because
really like the AI upscaling. I forgot what is PlayStation's technical term for it? PL.
PSSR,
Kisser.
yeah, PISA,
Because I mean,
PlayStation
NVIDIA does the
Super
same thing as
Sample.
DLSS, which is your AI upscaling for your NVIDIA graphics cards for
Yeah,
PC. So
and AMD gets FSR on
yes.
PC as well. So, like this AI upscaling, DLSS has been making games run and look better consistently for years now on the
Mhm.
PC end. And like
Mhm.
having a standard like that on PlayStation now should
Is
really just benefit every game that's coming out from here on.
isn't that? I mean, in my head, I think that is just a software thing, and couldn't they just add that to the base PS5 as an update as well? Or
Probably, but it
it's
might
just another
just
selling point for the Pro?
it might be a GPU limitation just based on the
Oh.
GPU in the base PS5
Mhm.
because a lot the GPU will help with ray tracing
Mhm.
definitely because GPU in PCs handle the ray tracing. So like
Mhm.
all of that work will be offloaded entirely to the GPU, giving the CPU more room to like keep your frame rate at or above 60.
Mhm.
And so ray tracing, the AI upscaling, all DLSS is also a GPU process on a computer. So
Yeah.
adding PSSR to the the better GPU in the PS5 Pro makes a lot of sense. And what was the third big selling point? It's the AI upscaling, the ray tracing.
Mhm.
It was something the big three, and they
The
were
big
just
three. Let's see. Mm.
because I know they're adding a lot of higher resolutions to games that are going to be able to run at higher frame rates.
Mhm.
So you get a combination of the performance you'd get out of performance mode, and I still don't think you're gonna get to the like fidelity that you're getting out of like graphics mode, but it'll
Yeah.
be better than it currently
Yeah.
is. Because like currently, some
I,
games I know like will have dynamic resolution that's dropping below 1080p to keep up frame rate.
wow.
I mean, it happens everywhere because
That's
like
true.
if you're trying to lock a 60 and
Yeah.
like things become more taxing, like, and your easiest thing to do is drop resolution, like, games definitely will drop resolution just to
Mhm.
keep up frame rates.
Yeah.
But it was going to be a day one hell yeah, because, like, honestly, that the things that they're saying for Monster Hunter, for GTA, for a lot of these big games that are coming next year, and then, like, you can't even, like, imagine, like, some of the things that are coming out the year after, or for essentially the next 4 years until we get the PS6. Because we know we're getting, like, a Ghost of Tsushima 2. We know we're getting something like Wolverine. We know, and this is just giving you an opportunity to run those games at, like, in better conditions like you would on a PC, because now PlayStation has reached a point where the majority of their current gen first party games have come to PC.
Yep.
And so to give those games better options on your own hardware, you have to do something. And what they did was bump the GPU significantly. And I mean, $700 is a lot for, it's the most expensive console of all time, if I'm not incorrect. Because even the PS3 was $599 and
Yeah.
got drugged through the streets for almost an entire generation because of that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
too much.
I
They think we're made of money
true.
at this point.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't.
it's for someone like me where even if I put $700 into my PC right now, I probably wouldn't get the same level of performance that I'd get out of the PS5 Pro. And I already have a
Right.
PC. So, like, if you're starting from nothing and you
You can
actually,
build a decent PC for the price of the PS5 Pro.
with
Like I can get
hardware
a
accelerated
30
ray tracing, DLSS,
Yeah, I can
six,
get a I can get a
Well,
GPU,
DLSS
my
is going to be card
generation's
specific.
GPU.
That's just card specific.
Yeah.
right. And so, like, the lowest card that you're getting that's doing ray tracing at 60 FPS and DLSS, you're spending several $100s just on that one component on its own.
Which
Like,
component?
the a GPU that can do DLSS and ray tracing at 60 FPS.
I'll be honest, this isn't like 2000s anymore. GPUs have significantly gone down in price. I can get a 4060 Ti for $379. You can get a CPU that's this generation for like 150, and the rest of your components don't cost that much. As long as you're not going bleeding edge, which you don't need for a motherboard.
Right.
RAM is significantly cheaper now, and then I mean it's a convenience factor for console players, and that's why I could see someone who genuinely just plays consoles wanting to buy something like this. But I can't hate on somebody who's going to buy this console and then not hate on somebody who just spent $700 building a PC. It's the same thing if you're just doing gaming. Now, if you're trying to do other things, your computer just take you further.
Yeah, but, like, even just looking at the range of prices, like, yeah, probably if you play it smart and you really, like, it really depends on what you already have when going into, like, building a PC. That'll determine, because, like, monitors, keyboards, mice, cases, stuff like that, that's not really, like, directly included in that $700. Like, if you just spend $700 on internals, like, and you don't have to worry about a case or monitors or mice or keyboards or anything else like that, or even controllers or cables, because like DisplayPort cables start getting pricey when you start actually trying to get, like, the resolution out of your PC. Like,
getting a good one it's hard.
So, yeah, I mean, it's your preference, because yes, if you invest another $700 into your PC, you probably can get better performance than you're getting out of a PS5 Pro. But for me, where am I going to be playing my games? Even if I got those $700 components, put them in my PC right now, I still prefer playing games on my PlayStation. And I mean, that's how it is.
I mean, there's no hate coming from me. It's just a very steep price for a console.
Yes.
To me, and I don't think that this is not a console that's for everybody when it drops.
Well, and I think even the PS4 Pro that launched at $400 4 years after the PS4 also launched at $400. First of all, we're getting a bigger leap, but secondly, like that was only 10%.
How big of the leap is it
Enough
from the
to collapse
PS5
the
to the
games
Pro?
industry.
Is it collapsing the games industry?
Oh yeah, well, the SD, at least it's not going to be as big of a SDK problem like it was last time around. But yeah, we're not in a good spot in the games industry, and we haven't been, and nothing that we're doing is contributing to making it better.
Not at all.
So
Yeah, honestly, like I said, we were cooked, and here they are applying seasoning.
Right.
That's true.
No stand is crazy.
Yeah, the fact that the base PS5 came with a stand.
Yeah.
My digital edition that I spent $400 on came with a stand.
Yeah, at least give me I understand the $30 one's made of. Is it made of metal? It looks sleeker than the one it comes with the PS5. But
I don't know.
come
This
with
one's
something.
worked. Yeah, even a plastic, the Switch comes with that little shitty kickstand. Something.
I understand that digital is the new way. Most people are not buying physical.
Yeah,
games
that was the
anymore.
other thing for me. It was one of the reasons I wanted a PS5 Pro was a disc drive before I knew the price. But it not coming with a disc drive, it wouldn't interfere. I don't have any physical PS5 games. All of my physical PS4 games I either also have digitally or just don't care to rebuy for no reason.
I mean, honestly, and I think at this point, next generation's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna have a disc drive. I think it's gonna go the way of the PC, and it's the disc.
Yeah, that was one of the things people were getting up in arms, oh, it has no disc drive, deal's off. I'm gonna build a PC, and you're gonna put a disc drive in it.
Yeah, no one's done. I don't even think.
I mean, for other things, there's other things you can do with the disc drive. It's a PC.
Sure, yeah.
You have other things.
Games anymore.
Yeah, but you're not rewriting data on a PS5.
You're not playing physical PC games.
No, I don't. Your disc drive is not for that anymore.
Right.
And that's why you just buy a.
So, if physical gaming is really that important to you, PC is not the space that you go to have your cake and eat it too. You know.
You get into the retro space and start struggling to oh shit. Honestly, if that's what gets your jollies going, you might as well do that.
I think the Astrobots physical sales in Japan were so low at they sold 12,000 copies physically.
Yeah, I mean,
in retail stores, and that game is considered to be doing astronomically well.
Yeah, and it was a small team, and it didn't take, and it took 3 years, and it runs at 60 FPS.
It's not a long game.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm not talking about the game's quality. I'm just saying it sold physically. Its physical sales are so low.
Yeah, and I mean that's limited run games does their allotments of physical runs for those people who want it. But the more time goes on, I found out the physical copy of Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection on Switch is just a code in a box.
Oh, see.
Code in a box.
I don't want to pay for a plastic box.
I mean,
but at the end,
you don't have to.
I feel
probably
even
want
with
that
this
on my shelf, but the Switch version's so far off in my mind of that game. But
I mean, for sure. I bought the disc version of the PS5 and I think I've bought a handful of physical games. I've mostly bought digital.
Yeah, you've gotten gifted physical games. I know that
Yeah,
much.
right.
Honestly, I think the next console, while it's probably going to be diskless, they'll probably still make like a disk drive option, like a add-on to sell. That way, they can still run those like limited run games, and companies can
Yeah.
really sit back like, all right, we can just make physical collector's editions
It'd be
or
That
like
honestly,
specialty editions and shit like that. And it's like, all right, well, I got to go through the whole rigmarole of getting the
hmm
additional thing, but
exactly.
the at least the physical enthusiast will have an option as opposed to just eat a dick, you know.
All right. Well, while we're still on the topic of PlayStation, I also Sony pulled a Apple and sent out that signal that hey, we announced a new thing, so your old thing's gonna break. And
Uh-oh.
so
To you specifically.
yes, to me specifically. So got my PS5 right here, not plugged in, ready to be shipped off. I had to do a service request from PlayStation, and so yeah, my PlayStation during playing Astrobot, over the course of several days of trial and error of different things that I could do to potentially fix it. So my theory is my power supply is overheating, and so it'll overheat, and as a failsafe, it'll shut off because there's a warning you get if your system itself is overheating, and my system itself isn't giving me that warning. It just completely shuts off, and that's it. And I lost 2 hours of solid progress in Astrobot to this. I was talking to Chris about it yesterday. I had to 100% the first world 4 separate times due to my system crashing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And so, and I got to the point where I was like, it's not lasting an hour, but I really want to play Astrobot. So I'm going to do this challenge level. I got Teddy, went back to the home base, cashed him in, like, quit
That's
the
good because
title
those
screen.
levels have teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Teddy and Igus were no hoe to get.
But, yeah. I also got Leon. And I saw that Jill would have been the 4th
Oh
bot
yeah.
from that series of challenge levels, but I was like, I don't have the energy. Plus, if my system crashes during this, I'm going to be pissed. So I am out of. You guys won't see me online on PlayStation for at least a week because I want to say Friday. So we're recording on Sunday. Actually, Thursday night is when I sent in the support ticket and paid the service fee because my system's out of warranty because I got it day one. But yeah, my PlayStation wouldn't last even an hour playing Astrobot, and I didn't feel like testing it with anything else really. And now I'm putting off getting the Marvel collection until I get my system back. So I'm waiting on the tracking number they're gonna send me the box. I'm gonna put my system in the box, which is why it's disconnected and I has its stock plates back on, and I have my SSD out of it because they're not gonna get one over on me.
yeah. Because like, are you going to send back my console?
Well, so I have my serial number. I took a picture of my serial number because A, I needed it to do the support request, and B, I'll know whether or not they sent me back my same console or swapped it out.
Cool.
If they swap it out, do you just like hit them back up and be like, yo, I want mine?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather take a newer set of internals than get back mine that have failed me. So this crashing didn't come absolutely out of nowhere. Earlier this year, my system crashed twice on I think it's called the Red Dragon, the fight in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. and I would do like, essentially I had Yuffie combos that were so good they were crashing my system because Yuffie's a broken character in that game. So, yeah, it crashed a couple times. I took it apart, cleaned it, like, eventually did that battle without Yuffie, and then put Yuffie back in my team, made it through the whole rest of the game, no issues. It was just that one fight with that one team composition that made my system crash. But now
Team comp is broken.
There were Yuffie combo videos that like people like IGN were putting out that were like, hey, you can try and use this because it's super good, but your system may overheat because of just... And I mean, that is Yuffie's kit in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's just particle effects.
PlayStation screen.
She's the only character that becomes two... She can use shadow clones, so like that's adding extra characters to the fight. Like, yeah, Yuffie does a bunch of shit she shouldn't be able to do in this game, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now not even being able to last a full level in Astro Bot because the final night, so crashed the first night. Okay, cool. Take it apart, clean like the intake vents, wipe off the plates themselves, and try and like wipe the grooves of the individual like vents on the back. And then that didn't work. So then the next day I borrowed this air gun from my job that we used to like clean out keyboards and stuff. And I blew out the fan from both sides on my PlayStation. You can, if you look into the back of my PlayStation, it's shiny because I blew out that much dust out of my.
Blows it back out, huh? Both sides.
But yeah.
That freak station.
So even that didn't work, and it crashed again. And so that was eventually, I'm like, all right, I don't want to take it apart far enough to void the warranty. So I'm going to use the warranty and just hopefully, they could just send me another system.
I feel like PS5s have been having like a lot of issues.
Really?
Overall, I'd say
because that wasn't Deontay's PlayStation fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with his, but I feel like 2 out of everybody we know isn't that high of a rate. Considering like Xbox 360s, all of us know multiple people who had it red ring. Like, I don't think it's to that level, but
I mean, but this.
I was like you got
this is kind of
this is a new console.
It's a new console. It's expensive, and it's like, what type of faith does that build for like a pro? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to be $700 and then I have to worry about it cocking out in like 2 years?
Well, yeah, that's another reason why I'm not going day one, is because I feel like it really needs to prove itself out there. Like, I need Digital Foundry to be like multiple games back to back. Like, oh yeah, this is the definitive console to play this game on. Like, I
feel like the reviews are going to do it either a favor or really go ahead and like, piss it away.
And I mean, I don't think anybody only 10% of PlayStation 4 sold were the PS4 Pro. I could see, in PlayStation's opinion, only 5% of PS5s being PS5 Pro still being a success, because they're not taking a loss on the console. That was one of the things that subsidized the price of the PS4 Pro, was they knew they were going to get you on the software end. But with this generation, like, a lot of the biggest games being free to play, and so like, let's say you buy a PS5 Pro to play Fortnite, Roblox.
That's insane. That's insane. If somebody says that's why they're buying their PS5 Pro,
wild statement.
Be like, you can just not.
But even something like, let's say somebody, because we all know that I'm going to be playing a shit ton of Final Fantasy 14 on it, and that you don't need PlayStation Plus for, and you're not doing your subscription through PlayStation, and you're not doing your microtransactions through PlayStation. So
True.
legitimately, you can, all the time that I'll spend playing Final Fantasy 14 on a PS5 Pro, Sony's making absolutely no money off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also true for a lot of other games. So that's why.
I mean, they can include you in their active user count and put that in front of investors. So they're always going to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think as much money as they are making out of someone like me who has spent the last 4 years buying all my games digitally through their service.
Right.
Where they're getting at least a 30% rip.
Right. I don't know. Like, the Pro, I'm still not like, oh no, I'm not getting this. Because I could. Mm-hmm. And, if that is the case, I would definitely prefer to trade in my base PlayStation 5.
And you have a digital or a physical?
Digital.
So I know that they are giving like $400 for physical PS5s. Especially when, you know how GameStop does that. Like, oh, say you're trading it towards this, so like we put that credit towards this. So you could, if you have a physical PS5 right now, and you wanted to upgrade to the Pro, it would be $300, which is way less of a sticker shock than $700. Because, like, I'll admit, like, I was shell-shocked. Like, a concussive blast went off, and, like, when they showed that price. Because the whole Mark Cerny presentation, I'm like, yes, this sounds great. All of this, like, you're zooming into these pictures, and I noticed that it's a little bit more detailed, but 99% of people won't, and that's fine by me. Like, I'm going to be the person pixel peeping on my own monitor, so give me them pixels to peep. I'll take it. But,
yeah, but holy fuck, $700 is a steep price.
They got to the end, and then they do like, now look, here's what to look forward to of the PS5 Pro. They show the design, I'm like, okay, cool. And then the last thing they show is PS5 Pro, and they show those numbers, and that was when the concussive blast like rang out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I went in under the assumption that motherfucker was going to be expensive anyway.
I knew
I thought it would be at least $100 more.
Everything that I've been listening to is indicated that shit's going to be expensive.
Right. I was expecting 600, like 600, and I was like, anything above 600.
What's the difference? It's just $100.
$100, which is a disc drive and a vertical stand. Or like a game, a physical and a digital.
The point
game.
of being ridiculous, like above 500. That's all just ridiculous, So
well, I was expecting 600 with a disc drive, honestly. But it's 700 without.
I remember there was a point where I thought there was going to be a disc drive, and then one day I was like, no, it's not.
Well, I mean, there is that Xbox One that's out there. It does have a 2 terabyte internal drive, which is really good and will really be needed for that, because the Series X that they're selling right now with the 2 terabyte internal drive with the disk drive is $600 as it is. So, I mean, these inflation's a bitch. These systems, like, I'm concerned about the next generation because people are not going to be happy about not having a disk drive on their base level console. Like, Microsoft kind of really started the trend with that this generation of there is no option to get a Series S with a disk drive, and there's no way to even add on a disk drive if you decide that's something you want with the Series S.
Right.
So, and that is their entry level console. Like, I'd say the entry level PS5 is the physical edition, because that's like that's the SKU that's selling more often than the digital edition. There are more physical editions made than digital editions, just across the board. So, but yeah, Xbox is they're selling more Series S, and
Aren't they coming out with a Series X that is discless?
Yep.
yes, that is also an option that is. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can get the only system that is guaranteed to let you use physical media is Switch.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
God, I hope the Switch 2 is
Do you think that
compatible.
shit?
A rumor has it is.
Yeah, it seemed.
Like, I need my digital library to be able to.
Well, your digital library 100% is coming with you because they emphasized that with the Nintendo account when they were like, all right, the Switch account is your account. That account and your digital games on that account will travel with you. It's more of like, will the cartridges work? Because
I hope so.
I think they will. And I mean, judging by like the
Yeah, do it
Tegra,
like the DS. Have a Switch insert at the bottom and the Switch 2 insert at the top.
or they could do like the 3DS,
Yeah.
where the slot, like the cartridges have a little notch on them, so you can use
Oh.
DS cartridges in the same slot, and they just do a Switch cartridge that has
It's a
a little
slot in a slot.
same slot, multiple purposes.
I know.
All right, so I guess while we're talking about the 3DS, I tried modding all of our 3DSs and failed spectacularly. Yay!
We can blame it on your dead PS5.
Well, the reason I didn't end up having time to go back after, because everybody came over, I downloaded everything. I had to download Python to my computer. Like, we were really in the throes of getting it done. And we hit a roadblock, and I was going to go back and experiment dealing with that roadblock. But then I had bigger fish to fry with a fried PS5 sitting on my desk. So, but yeah, 3DS. I'm tired of all the memes of it's so easy to mod a 3DS. You should just do it.
Have you ever just watched a YouTube video of someone doing it?
I did.
He had the instructions up the entire time.
Right, yeah,
Hey,
I have the guide that all the videos are following
Some people
along.
are visual learners.
I mean, Chris, you have the tool, and I'm probably going to look for my adapter so I can give it another try, because now I'm down to the point of either I'm playing Switch games, which don't really want to do, or I'm playing things on Steam Deck, which I do have a lot of stuff that I want to play.
There you go. Spend some time with the deck.
Yeah, just spend some time with your deck.
Quality time. Just hold it.
Play with your deck.
Let me see. Is this thing alive?
Put
Doctor
it in
said
your
it's
Yep,
difficult.
74%. But it needs a software update.
Yeah, put that new software on your deck.
Yep, got that updating. But yeah, I'm also looking for a USB-C. I want a dock for the deck so I could play a lot of these games on my monitor.
Oh.
Because, like, they won't. I don't know if my PC would run them better than my deck would, but I have everything that I'd want to play installed on my deck. So that is.
I mean, if it's deck optimized, then it should run pretty smoothly.
Yeah, and I mean, I know they run in handheld mode, but how does that translate to when I hook it up to a 4K display?
Oh, yeah, it's chugging a little bit harder.
Right, like honestly, because like one of my other options is using a Switch, like I probably wouldn't mind 720p out of some of these games because there are things that are on Steam that I just can't play on Switch, like Hades 2. Basically, I'm trying to see how Hades 2 would look on my monitor coming out of my Steam Deck. That's essentially what I'm trying to figure out.
Might as well try it to see.
I mean,
I
PC
need-
would run Hades 2 just fine, and it would look probably just as good.
Yeah, but then I'd have to wire my controller to my PC, and it'd fuck up all my audio settings like it always does because the PlayStation controller has a speaker and a microphone, so
Oh,
it hijacks
right.
all of those settings.
Use your Xbox controller.
Right, just use an Xbox controller.
Do I have an Xbox controller anymore?
You should.
I should.
Well, I guess you don't PC.
I see the
game, so-
Xbox is in the back.
Right.
Okay,
Could you
yeah,
use
I
your
got an
Switch
Xbox
Pro controller?
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah.
Oh, do you have batteries?
Oh no,
That's
I
fine.
won't.
Just
It's
wi-
gonna be
just wire
wired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah. The batteries aren't the problem, and I have the cable in this mess of cables by my feet.
Nice.
So I'm actually gonna hook that up now and try out Hades 2 after we record.
Nice.
Well, while we're talking about smaller indie games, Annapurna Interactive had their entire staff walk out, and so no more Annapurna games.
They're saying
That's to be determined.
they're saying they're trying
Yeah,
to figure it out.
I think they're trying to go somewhere else, but I don't think they can take any of the IPs with them.
Well, I mean, they were just working in a publishing capacity, so I
Yeah.
mean, even if the same people end up going somewhere else and
Yeah.
start up a new thing, they could just really work with the same developer contacts that they would have had from beforehand.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because they weren't developing, they were just publishing. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
as
yeah.
bad as when, like, if everybody had a developer walked out, that game would just never see the light of day.
Right. True.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Like you have to think that they took a look at the new direction that Annapurna wanted to go into, and were like, "Oh no, fuck that," because I believe
Yeah.
like
According to Bloomberg's,
Yeah.
they wanted to separate the video game publishing arm of Annapurna from the corporate part of the company, and the CEO Ellison said, "No, that's not going to happen." So everybody left.
And I mean, just thinking
was-
about recently, the only other time I could think of something like this happening thus far in the games industry was Skullgirls. Like, everybody essentially left. I think it was Lab Zero. It was either Lab Zero or Quantum Games. Like, whatever part of that structure. Like, they all left and founded Future Club and just stepped back in to continue supporting the game without some of the leadership. So, like, they had problems with, like, the leadership of the company, and so essentially just sidestepped being under the umbrella of that company and made their own umbrella to continue working on the exact
we're
same
gonna go,
game.
we're gonna go over here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do.
So,
You gotta leave your company and go somewhere new,
yep.
or create something new, or change industries.
I mean, if the company that you're a part of doesn't have the same ideas as you, you're not going to be happy. So you might as well leave.
All right, especially when you see something you love getting changed and turned into something that you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So,
good for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Annapurna, I guess, is going to be fine. I guess you got to hire 25 people.
Well, I mean,
Like now.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
think-
just that specific arm that walked.
yeah, and it's just the games publishing.
Yeah, I know, but,
division.
like,
it's not the movies. It's
You
not
lost 25 employees. That's not nothing.
True.
Especially for, it's not like this is a huge, giant studio.
Well, it's a small publisher, so
Yeah.
you know, Really, they could partner up with like anybody else. They could. Devolver's probably not a 1,000-man operation. Like I could see Devolver being like in the 100 to 200 range, even.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
even adding those 25 employees somewhere else, like in another company, or they could probably just do something on their own. Because I don't even think like Pop Agenda. I don't think they're a massive operation. Like a lot of these indie publishers don't like. It's not like EA or Ubisoft or any of these other things that have just like insane headcounts.
Right.
So yeah, I think it'll be. I think the people that left will be okay because they have what they would need to continue working in the same capacity they were working, just with different leadership. And while we're talking about publishers with extremely large headcounts, Microsoft had another round of hundreds of layoffs due to redundancy. Dang, 650 is higher than I was even picturing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And a lot of that is because they acquired all of Activision Blizzard and King and all of the HR departments, a lot of the people who are working even in production roles. Like, there's a lot of redundancy that happens when a giant company that's already working as a publisher and just another giant publisher. Like, we've seen a lot of these layoffs happening under the ZeniMax umbrella, and now we're seeing it more so with Activision Blizzard because they're bigger than ZeniMax was.
Right.
And as much as we shit on Bobby Kotick and, like, the Activision Blizzard leadership, I honestly think that they probably would have been able to handle this situation better than the Xbox leadership is doing.
But another thing with Xbox leadership and all this is at the end of the day, they still spent an ungodly amount of money on all of that.
Acquiring them.
That. That's
this is a symptom of the merger in and of itself.
Right.
Like those people would have had jobs because they wouldn't have been funneled into an organization that already have all of these people.
All those things set in place. And I don't necessarily know if Bobby Kotick. I'm not going to give him that statement.
Not one single iota of credit. Fuck
no. That man was already driving that damn company into the ground. We remember Activision Blizzard because it hasn't changed much before Xbox bought it. And the horror stories that were coming out of it. That company was shit. And that was all to Bobby Kotick's leadership role.
Well, I
know I'm not saying Xbox is doing by any means
I just
better. I'm just saying
I don't think Xbox leadership is equipped to handle the
merger.
Yeah, like all the problems that come along with acquiring a company of that size and scale. I don't think Xbox's leadership.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he said that this was going to happen.
Those people. They were like, okay, we're going to get rid of these teams. We're not going to need them.
Yeah, Phil Spencer said at the beginning of the year when he did his first round of layoffs, there's going to be more layoffs later on this year. I mean, he's already said that this was going to happen, and whether or not he warned this team that he just laid off, or the multiple teams that he just laid off, that this was going to happen at this time, that would be cool if you gave him a 6 months head notice to go find something else. But this wasn't necessarily a surprise. Shitty, that doesn't change, but
definitely don't make it right.
Right.
And I also think it's the fact that it's like they just wanted Call of Duty, which prints money. They wanted
Candy Crush that prints money.
Candy Crush that is money.
That's
like that's the golden egg right there. And everything else was kind of just
right. Like, and I mean, they have the excuses to back it up on the Microsoft end because their games revenue has shot through the roof. Like that infinite growth that everybody's always searching for, Microsoft has captured because they brought in Candy Crush and they brought in Call of Duty. And while both of those like are just continuously printing money, now they're printing money for Microsoft. So
Yeah. Big Daddy Microsoft is finally happy.
allegedly.
For now.
But also it's the fact that like you're not going to recover, and also like you're just not going to recover that amount of money fast enough.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Like,
I mean, it's a shit ton of money.
right.
It's unfathomable in my eyes.
Like
I
that's
don't even
enough
know.
money that they could have just made a bunch of reasonably sized products for the next decade and revitalized the brand. But like, you know, why do that when you need games that have microtransactions because development budgets have ballooned out of control for, truth be told, diminishing rewards.
That's true. I mean, but to be fair, Candy Crush and Call of Duty every year is going to pay for whatever Microsoft wants to do. They can get a little experimental with it and see what works because they have that kind of safety net with those two games.
But they're not going to.
I know, but true, but
because I
they
mean,
could.
Here we go.
I don't know what is going to happen. I'm just a gamer of.
I mean,
I'm a
Tony
player
Hawk
of games.
He did
Tony
reference something.
That is on the list to talk about. Tony Hawk said he's been talking with Activision that they're doing something. That's cool.
But what is it going to be? Honestly, because it's like
Tony Hawk Underground.
Vicarious Visions is gone. So the people who made Tony Hawk 1+2 isn't a team anymore. So
multiple devs can make games, and it's not that one studio that's going to make that perfect video game. It might not be the same touch that you played on your GameCube, but like
for some reason this sounds like Copium.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, because that was the team that made the good. Like that's like Toys for Bob. Like if Toys for Bob got dissolved, and they said they were making another Crash game with somebody else, you wouldn't have the level of faith you had in it because that team would have been gone.
Yeah, but when's the last time I got a Tony Hawk game?
Tony Hawk 1+2.
That wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
Right, and that team that did that is gone.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem is. Yeah. That's why. And then the team that last made a real core Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 was atrocious. It was the Dragon Ball evolution of the Tony Hawk games.
No, that Tony Hawk game literally only exists so they could keep the license. Because if you don't use a license long enough, you just straight up lose it and someone else can snatch it up. See what happened with the returning of Flappy Bird. That's not the original dev.
Yeah, it is not at all. It is somebody who's been publishing Flappy Bird clones that got the IP rights and are now calling essentially a Flappy Bird clone Flappy Bird. So
yeah, like why the fuck would we care about a Flappy Bird in today's climate? With a million Flappy Bird clones that already exist.
Right.
They're not talking to us. They're talking about those little kids that are always on their phone.
Are they playing
Flappy Bird? They would be on a Happy Bird clone or
they're
fucking
playing
mobile Roblox.
Right. They're playing
Have you seen these little kids?
Roblox, Fortnite.
Shit, they're watching too much YouTube and then see an ad for a game that isn't actually real, and that's what they're downloading.
Those games?
Those games.
Oh, those games, huh?
But now let's see you clear them. But yeah, I don't think kids are playing Flappy Bird. I feel like Flappy Bird was so long ago and has been gone for so long that like you're better off doing like a Minecraft clone. It'll probably be free with like ad support and shit, and people are gonna download it because like
it's Flappy Bird.
People our age know what Flappy Bird is, but like
those are the ones who are actually going to download it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I still have OG Flappy Bird on my Apple account. I don't think it runs on 64-bit operating system. But if you type Flappy Bird into the App Store right now, I see 2 clones that are free, 3 clones that are free.
Angry Bird.
Oh, Angry.
Is this real? Go away.
Is what
Go
real?
away.
Angry Birds is on the list. Angry Birds 2, which, the hot new Sega game, Angry Birds 2.
I just really love this headline. I googled Flappy Bird, and one of the first things is original Flappy Bird creator surfaces to disown its crypto zombie resurrection.
Oh, so it's a crypto game. Even fucking better.
Oh, it all makes sense now. Heard.
Damn.
First the banana game, now Flappy Bird.
So what's the banana game? Because
What's
It's
the banana game?
What's
it's a game on Steam. It's literally just JPEGs of bananas. It's a weird fucking. It's either crypto or something to do with manipulation of the Steam marketplace. I barely understand it.
it's definitely manipulating of the Steam's
Did you just Google
marketplace.
it?
No, because I have it on my Steam Deck.
Oh,
I just don't know what
Banana
it
game?
is. I haven't opened it yet. There's also egg. That seems like so.
So you
Banana.
just be downloading shit you don't know about?
Hey, I mean that's how I got Undefeated for free, which looks like a shit Unreal Engine open world superhero game.
It sounds like a character name from
Is
Invincible.
is it called Banana?
Something like that.
I'm
A
gonna
game where you rapidly click on a JPEG of a banana and nothing else.
Yep.
Has an all-time peak of 31,000 players on Steam.
That shit is probably you mining crypto.
Yeah, yeah. Banana,
load it up.
the game.
Yeah, they also steal your data with each click.
Well, ain't no data to
Shit,
steal
they
on my
have
Steam
that.
Deck.
Shit. It's gonna open up a backdoor network into your Trojan device, and they'll be able to access your Wi-Fi. And then boom, they send all your codes to North Korea.
Not
Korea?
North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea. Dang. Thought it would be China.
China.
Black jobs.
you know?
They're eating the cats and the dogs.
Oh God, damn.
Damn.
All right.
We are in idiocracy now at this point.
Not quite. Give
Not
it till
quite.
the end of November. Then,
Yeah, I guess we're not feeding our crops with Gatorade
yeah.
yet.
Give it till
Well,
the
actually,
end of November.
we don't have to worry about feeding our crops with Gatorade. It's more like we're going to have to drink Gatorade because we're not going to be able to get water.
Oh,
I've been drinking Gatorade instead of drinking Coke every day, and it's helping me lose weight, so.
that's
I'm-
good. Coke is horrible for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
aware, but
Gatorade
it
has
all-
a shit ton of salt in it too. If you're not like actively sweating though,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
like that's why it's called sports drink, because you're supposed to be doing something sport related to justify those calories and that sodium that's in it.
And the
The
sugar.
way you
Oh,
said that's
and
why
the
it's called
artificial
sports
coloring.
drink. Oh shit. Hey man, I love that Red Dye 40.
That shit just stick to your ribs.
I've been getting the
Literally.
blue.
Of course. Of course.
Got
The,
micro.
the fruit punch Gatorade made me sick when I was a kid.
The
So I
what?
never- like the fruit punch or like the red.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just never drank that shit.
Stuck with the blood.
One is gross too. Like
Yeah. Yuck.
yuck, disgusting.
All right. Well, I mean, does anybody have one more thing before we wrap?
Oh, I guess we did technically hit all topics.
Yeah, we hit all the topics, you know?
Look at us go.
Anybody play episode Icus yet?
Nope. I haven't even beat base Persona 3
Yeah,
yet.
me neither.
Because of Astrobots.
It's been making me real.
I'm not buying any digital PlayStation content right now, Madrid.
Don't ask Anton if he's playing anything.
I didn't think you would be getting episode Icus anyway. You're not even going to make it through episode intro of the fucking game.
Right.
This is with a working PS5.
Look, I played some of that game, all right?
Yeah,
What'd you make
past
it
a
to?
couple
April?
coffins and I stopped.
No, I made it through my first couple nights in Tartarus.
I saw my persona rip open my persona.
Yeah.
I did see that. That wasn't the last thing I saw, but did make it past that.
Did you make it to the hospital when they wake him up?
Yeah, made it back to the dorm and then went to Tartarus and then went to school and then went back to Tartarus.
Yeah.
You know what's actually crazy though? I spent more time
Pretty good,
listening to the
actually.
soundtrack than I've spent playing the game.
In the game.
Yo,
It's a
Yeah.
solid soundtrack.
when you're out in public and that shit just comes on and shuffle, and I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
the immersion.
Just shopping, like going grocery shopping, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I am the pro tag now. That's what it was. I was gonna ask you, what did you hear before? No, I do want to go back to that game, but Astrobots has me in a chokehold.
I could
You
have
haven't beaten
platinumed
it yet?
Astrobot by now.
Well, okay, so I probably would have beaten it this week, but it was Marissa's birthday week,
True.
so I didn't get to sit down and play PlayStation 5. That wasn't in her wish list for the week. It'll be in mine. But yeah, I played it some today because she was a little hungover from the party, so I was like, I'll watch football and play Astrobots like a real
Yeah.
man.
America.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, if nobody has one more thing, remember you can follow us all collectively around the internet, cheesycontrollerpodcast.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Anton6, followed by 2 X's. Chris, where can people find you?
Nowhere.
And Madrid?
X_ Spain
All right. And
on
Jalen?
IG.
Quit Bishop on the internet.
All right, this has been a No It's Good production. The video version's edited by Chris. The audio version's edited by Akuma Santi. Until next time, keep it cheesy. And next time will be episode 300.
Hondo.
Woo!
Woo!